happy Saturday morning. I guess there's a 1/7 chance that you're watching this on a Saturday because I'm actually recording it during my 21-day YouTube fast. When this fast is over, I'm gonna have a bunch of videos come out. So, but I'm still wanting to document this journey. So Saturday morning, I have a birthday boy today. My second oldest boy is 14 years old, and we had a big birthday party for him last night. Today, it's basketball time. We have 3 basketball games today. My husband coaches. That's where we're headed. I got to return a couple kids to their parents this morning. That's why I have no kids with me. Look at those empty little booster seats. I'm sitting outside this gas station. I grabbed myself a black decaf, just decaf coffee to sip while I watch basketball, which is a first for me because normally I'm not sipping decaf. Normally at basketball, for years and years and years, I sat there with babies, and I remember one time I just remember trying to feed hot sweet potatoes to a baby while my toddler needed to go pee and was potty training next to me in the bleachers, and my 4-year-old was climbing the bleachers behind me, and my husband was coaching the other 2 probably, and after the game he was like, well, what'd you think? And I was like, I call it in shock. I was in shock. It was overstimulating, to say the least, and I just always remember those hot sweet potatoes. Here's my public pact. And I'm going to add at the end of this video the definition of pact, because it is the word I want to use. It's a public, or it's a formal, I don't know what, I forgot. You'll see. Here's my pact. I will not eat sugar and flour alone, period. I won't eat them alone. I will never consume sugar and flour by myself in the quiet of my kitchen or anywhere. Maybe I don't want to make light of people's struggles. I was going to say in a dark alley alone. Okay. And let me explain very quickly why I am saying that I won't do it alone. Because I had to think through this myself. Why would I not just say I won't eat sugar and flour? Well, because that is what I'm aiming my life to do. That's the aim, right? That is certainly the goal. And think of it like this. My kids used to be involved in competitive archery. It was time consuming and expensive, and there was tournaments all over the place, and a little bit boring. It was a little bit boring to watch and be part of, and it was a little bit boring for the kids to wait and wait and wait until it was their turn to shoot an arrow. But obviously, the goal is, I need to call my husband back. Hold on. Wait just a second. Okay, I'm glad I called him back. He needs me to pass out uniforms for a game that starts in 10 minutes. We'll talk soon. Bye. Okay, so we are right in the middle of 3 games, and I ran out here to get some Gatorades out of the car. I'm going to finish this thought. I'm going to jump back into my competitive archery analogy. But first, let me just say, the video before this one, just say no to birthday cake, I was kind of being silly and kind of like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I would throw away everything that I'm wanting for my life for what I want for the moment, blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of seriousness behind that, and it really is alarming and concerning to me that this far into this journey, this far into learning the science behind addiction and absolutely buying into the fact that my brain is addicted. I can look you in the eyes and tell you I believe I am a sugar and food addict. I believe that for sure. I know what it feels like when people say just have a little, and I'm like, oh, I don't want a little. There's been dopamine downregulation, which means I could eat a little, I could consume a little, and it would release dopamine, right? But then it's dose dependent. I had to consume a little more to get that same dopamine dump, if you will, a dopamine hit, like a dopamine release in my brain. Dopamine being the chemical that's released when we take drugs that make us feel good. So then I had to take a little more and a little more and a little more, and I started to realize that I was like, holy moly, my body is demanding it now. I used to take it to feel good, now I take it to feel normal. But I'm having to consume like bizarre, giant, enormous amounts to get that same relaxed, high feeling. So dose-dependent drugs, dopamine downregulation, like I totally am convinced of the science behind it, and I'm convinced of the shape that my brain is in. So it's both alarming and very concerning to me that I would start cutting a cake and then go, you know what? I think I want a piece of this. Yeah, I think I want a piece. Again, I've told people we have an active problem. It will always need an active solution, which is why whatever we do to get things in place and in order, we want to keep them in place and in order, and not take our hands off the wheel, and not relax, and not disengage. But it was concerning enough to me last night when I made that little video to take this next step, which is why I'm taking this next step and making this formal agreement. So I looked it up and I was wrong. Pact, I'm still going to use the word pact, and I'm still going to make a pact. But I was sort of thinking that was, I know what a pact is. I mean, I've made pacts with people, but with people, keyword with. So what I really set out to do, and this is kind of neat, what I really set out to do this morning was make somewhat of a declaration, a public declaration. But why not? Let's make it a pact. Hey, you, right there, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Okay. If anybody listening to this wants to join me in this pact, in fact, I need one of you to, so that it will be a formal agreement. We'll agree. Do it. Join me in this pact, all right? Let's make a pact right now, you and me. So leave your comment below and say, I'm in. Yep, let's do this. Our pact starts today. We're going to make a pact not to eat sugar and flour alone. So I need you guys to join me in this in order to truly make it a pact, which I kind of love that I need you all to join me in this. So let me get back to that real quick. The goal in archery is to make a bullseye. But I'll speak for myself. I wouldn't walk up in a competition and turn around to everyone and say, hey, I'm going to make a bullseye. Like, I would not declare that. I would do everything in my power to prepare for that, to make that happen. I would put into practice certain behaviors, certain habits. I would hone my skill, hone my craft, and I would prepare for that. And that's what we're doing all day, every day when we set out to not eat sugar and flour. We are aiming our whole life. It's why my before and after pictures, which by the way, they're not exactly after, they're more like before and during pictures, which that's what every before and after picture is, because, well, unless you take a picture after you've already passed, when you're dead, because whatever shape you're in right now is temporary, I promise you that. So we can't say officially this is before and this is after. This is more like before and now, or before and during. We're not at our final physical state yet. You get my point. Okay, so my before and during pictures, and I'll add one at the end of this, they're dramatic because I have changed so many things in my life. I have different stressors in my life which cause different hormones to be released, which means I'm not constantly living in like a cortisol fight or flight state, which is probably good for my skin and hair. I don't know. But like there's so many things that we're doing to change the trajectory of our lives and like aim our whole life in the right direction. And I want mine aimed towards Jesus. Hebrews 12, 2, I believe. I want my eyes fixed on Jesus. I want my face facing the sunshine. I want the shadows to fall behind, the S-O-N-S-H-I-N-E, the sunshine. If I have shadows and darkness in my life, it's because I've turned away and I have allowed that into my life. It's been a wonderful break from YouTube because there's a lot of, did you all know that there's a lot of negative stuff in the world? Well, guess what? No, that's not new. That's not new. It's why God sent himself. It's why God sent Jesus here to save this world. We can count on craziness in the world being the norm. And I'll bet every generation thinks, oh, but this is the craziest. Maybe not. There's probably been a few generations that enjoyed some peace. I don't know. Okay, so anyways, as we aim our lives, then everything that we put in place is what's going to help us do what we're hoping to do, which is live our whole life without sugar and flour, or fill in the blank drug. But I won't know until the end of my days whether or not I can turn around and say, did it! But just like the archer doesn't know until they shoot that arrow whether or not their hard work paid off. So we are currently this is still the hard work phase. We're still aiming our lives every day. So me saying I will not eat sugar and flour alone is just one of many things that I do as an archer to prepare to hit that bullseye. I bet you someone who has been sober from alcohol for 35 years. I actually heard Rob Lowe say on the Kelly Clarkson show once, he had a cup. He said, I haven't drank for 32 years, but who knows? You know, there might be something in this cup. Like he still doesn't take for granted that he's still doing it one day at a time, and that he is still aiming to not drink for the rest of his life. But he hasn't hit the bullseye yet. And by the grace of God, neither have we. We're not there yet. Psalm 139, he has not called us home. So we are still, that's what we're aiming to do. I do feel confident saying I will not eat sugar and flour alone, because I think of that as just one of many things that as an archer I will do to set myself up for success. Just like an archer might practice 20 minutes every morning, or they might buy a particular bow that's better than another, or what would be something that would be sort of the equivalent of I will not eat sugar and flour alone. I will I don't know. I can't really come up with the exact okay, so instead of saying I will hit the bullseye, they might say I will, let me think about this. Okay, an archer might not feel confident saying, I'm going to hit that bullseye. I mean, because well, yeah, that's what we're all hoping we're going to do. But they might feel confident saying, oh, I am going to hit that target. So that was tricky for me to think of, because I will hit the bullseye is opposite than I won't eat sugar and flour. So I was like, what would their equivalent be of, sorry, something on the camera, of a version of the bullseye. And a version of the bullseye for me would be never eating it alone. Here's why I say that. I say I will not eat it alone. My husband was like, so does that mean you're going to eat it with people? No. I've already, clearly my goal is to not eat it at all. Or he said, does that mean you're not going to eat it with people? Did I just say that? I don't know. Clearly my goal is to not eat it at all. But I am so fortunate to be surrounded by people that I would not feel comfortable eating it in front of, and they would not support me in that. And so the danger zone for me is when I'm alone, which is not often being alone at all with so many kids, but being alone with sugar and flour. But we had all these kids over, and we had this birthday party, and my husband went to sleep, and 4 kids went up to Nana's, and 6 kids went upstairs, and there I was in the kitchen unexpectedly with that cake that I had just made that video about not eating. And I thought, oh, I might sit right here in this quiet moment. And trust me, it'd be quiet for like 0.2 seconds because kids are coming and going, but nobody was there at the moment. I thought I might get 2 or 3 pieces of this cake, put it in a big bowl with ice cream. I might do that. And then I was like, Emily, no. And then I was like, yeah, I do. I was kind of going back and forth. And I was thinking, all I'd have to do is delete that video. No one would even know about this little struggle I'm having, which, by the way, these YouTube videos, it's sort of like a live diary for me. It's like a live journal for me, and it helps me immensely to be documenting my journey, knowing that there will be eyes on my journey. I'm going to speak for all of us addicts, and it's helpful for us to have eyes on us. Again, we don't need to be alone with the enemy and drugs. It's a bad combination. Doesn't it just sound like a bad combination? Satan, drugs, and you all alone. It just sounds like a recipe for disaster. Like that might head off in the wrong direction. Am I right? Am I right? Okay. So anyways, I didn't touch it. That's my pact. That's our pact. Who are you? Pact with me. I will not eat sugar and flour alone. I love the little image I made. I'm going to attach it here at the end with my signature. Again, yes, I'm an archer. Yes, I'm aiming for a bullseye. No, this journey will not be perfect. And no, I cannot see the future. I cannot see tomorrow, but I can see today. And today is what I have control over. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. It's today. It's right now. It's this moment, these habits. The gift of today is what I can sink my teeth into. It's what I can get my hands on. And so what am I going to do with it? And one thing I'm not going to do with it is eat sugar and flour alone. So there's my public declaration that I would love to be a pact between me and at least one of you. I love you dearly. Let me know. I'm going to be checking the comments. And if none of you will pact with me, I'm sure I can find someone else, and I'll say, hey, let's make a pact that we never eat sugar and flour alone. And that'll be one little thing that we've put in place to help us stay headed in the right direction. Love you dearly.